just making sure, and this is a very deep personal question, but making sure your moral compass is on par to sit with the men and women that are in the network. Yeah, so my name is Thomen. I own Mountain Detail in Falls Village, Connecticut. It's actually the second smallest town in the state of Connecticut, quite rural, about 1,000 people in the whole town. So our chief concern with our business growth is always naturally clients to satisfy the business. So most of our growth has been organically derived from I guess probably the 80-20 rule. So, most of our business is, 20% of our clients feed, 80% of our business generally is how we operate. But it's coming into, celebrated our 5th year. So February for us was year 5.
Relationships built into your business, and you have a good relationship with your clients?
Yeah, so I guess multifaceted approach to that question. So not having a ton of clientele, we are blessed to be 6 miles from Lime Rock Park, which is a major road racing center on the East Coast. A lot of car community. What is not a local resident tends to be somebody that lives in the area that has a second house from the New York City area. So our clients are typically middle class and upper echelon. We don't treat anything as transactional. We try to maintain relationships, and that's kind of how we start everything. It's all relationship based, person-centered approach. That kind of comes into my background and how I incorporate my background into the current business modality and the business model that we have now. So initially in my undergrad, I started working at a car dealership, and I had always detailed family vehicles and family neighborhood vehicles in the past in my teens. So I started working during my undergrad. I'm going to school full time. I'm working about 34 hours a week at this dealership. I got hired initially as a lube oil filter technician, PDI technician, new car prep, things of that nature. When it would get slow in the car business, as it always does, like December through February, guys would go home. They knew I could detail. I begged them, I said, hey, I will swap into the wash bay so I don't have to go home and lose hours. And as I was paying my way through school, they allowed that. And through the dealership, I was able to learn, heavy auto reconditioning, wholesale pieces, frontline pieces, things of that nature, efficiency, time management, what certain chemicals do, how to buy from vendors, how to network through vendors, things of that nature. And I would bounce back and forth between turning wrenches and in the wash bay. So that went on until I completed my undergrad. So I successfully got my bachelor's degree in criminology. From there, my background clearly, not clear, but to you, James, but is in law enforcement. So I'm retired law enforcement. I did that for 2 decades. During that time, I was a detective for roughly half of my career. And through that, the ability to learn time management and discipline and how to manage projects and be the lead on certain things, caseload, how to manage caseload, how to certainly network, talk to people. Law enforcement gave me a great deal of discipline and certainly a finite attention to detail, which I kind of always had, but it definitely honed it. And if you thought you were good, somebody else was going to let you know and tear you apart. So there was no room for error when when cases went to state's attorneys or even towards trial prep. Like it had to be tight and right. So during my time in the Detective Bureau, I was able to obtain my master's degree, which I'm very grateful and blessed to have. I have a master's in counseling psychology. So when you to go back to the question of, do I see things as transactional? Systematically, yes, it's a business. We need to keep the lights on, but it's more person-centered. My approach is more through a therapeutic lens and a networking lens, and then molding the discipline that I learned through law enforcement. With the attention to detail, I can meld both worlds together. So as it goes on, my career goes on, I simply learned to, let me go back. So I approached the business in around 2018, 2019. I knew I wanted to open a business again as a newer venture as far as coming to the end of my career. And we just built a house at that time. And it therapeutically helped me relax, especially through the end of my career. And I knew transition was coming, which was truly, had heavy impact on me and my family. So this helped me to, it was very cathartic for me to have the business, use a different part of my brain, focus on things that I didn't really know so much about, and to learn and be curious again. So the business grew as such. I retired, the business is going well, and part of this too is I currently, I'm a licensed professional counselor in the state of Connecticut, so I see clients on the side, in a part-time basis, who are primarily in early recovery. So they suffer from addiction, and they're in the stages of early recovery. So that's my primary clientele base. So that, in addition to the business, is, and then how I spend my days.
You get from the finance network, and why you have pride, or why you like being a part of this group?
Yeah. So the way I was introduced into the network and why it was, I think it was more divine intervention as far as that is concerned. I went to a training event and met Aaron Knox, and he knew what I was currently doing, that I was trying to grow the business as it was, and he said, "Hey, I got somebody you need to talk to." So this individual contacted me, and we had a long conversation, spent about 3 hours on the phone, and he was quite frank with me and said, if you're not going to, answer things in a certain way, I'm willing to extend the olive branch and put some time into you, but you need to understand that your answers have to fit in alignment with what we need to do here. So that individual I'm truly blessed for. I spoke to him this morning. His name is Sean Hogue from Distinctive Detailing. He's been there for me since the beginning. Sean is retired law enforcement as well, so that was where our connection came. So he understood the transactional piece of having the identity shift, certain nuances of different parts of the brain, conceptualizing things, being on the job as such, thinking about the business, maybe not being as hyper-focused and as vigilant as we should have been, because we both kind of experienced that, and that was things that certainly went into my thought process when I decided to retire. As Sean described it to me, it was akin to him already being law enforcement. We spoke on a common language, and I wanted to be in a network that had the highest integrity, because I hold myself to very high integrity. The men and women I worked with in law enforcement, and translated into what the finest network was, like the best of the best. And I was, You know, it's not a pay to play, it's an invite only. It's very, to me, it's, I'm very blessed and appreciative to be a part of something that is deeper and more, has more impact in the auto detailing industry than just simply being transactional. So it's more about, you know, the people in our network, creating modalities. I mean, we just did, you know, an hour worth of breath work. I mean, that's something that I would do, you know, with clients, grounding exercises or something to that extent. We're doing that in an environment where we work on cars. We have relationships with our clients who, you know, simply enjoy what we enjoy too, which is the car world. And if it wasn't for Sean, I would not be where I am today.
A service in your area?
So for me, I try to be very clear and concise with our processes and how our menu, our packages are laid out. I don't ever like to set up an expectation for somebody, because if an expectation is unmet, it becomes a resentment very quickly, and that will tarnish not only the detailing industry but my personal business. So consultations, getting to know the person, establishing rapport, making sure we are a good fit, that the choices that they're making, that they want to spend money on, is a good fit for them. And I often tell people no as well. And sometimes people are not used to hearing that. And you know, I work hard for my money, I always have. And for me, I would never steer somebody down the path to do something or spend money unjustly on something just because they read about it in a forum, or it's in the BMW forum, or this guy's doing it. Well, there needs to be you know, proper education on that piece too, to make sure that they understand this rabbit hole we're going down, the money we're going to spend, and how to certainly maintain that product too once they have it, so they can enjoy it.
Network, and trying to be a part of what we build.
So I think just making sure, and this is a very deep personal question, but making sure your moral compass is on par to sit with the men and women that are in the network. Quality, integrity, being just in your business and fair with your clients, being being willing to educate them and being very clear and concise. That's what I would say would be the foundational piece. In addition to that, mentoring is huge, whether it be somebody within the automotive industry or any type of other small business, that they can learn basic principles like, you know, how to set up an LLC, what insurance is, how to hire employees, things of that nature, financial tenements of life that are not often taught in school. Reading, you know, I devour books. In addition to everything else, I'm at the gym this morning, I'm listening to podcasts and or books. I mean, that's every week. Sean and I will switch books, or other mentors in the group or other business mentors. I'll quite often read this, start these 3. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation. Like, this is how we learn, this is how we foster growth within the network and within, you know, the small business industry that we're in, the automotive detailing world. My name is Thomen. I own Mountain Detail in Falls Village, Connecticut, and I am Team CQUARTZ.